I have used large binders like this to store my collage pieces and magazine cutouts for years and years, like, I don't know, 10 years. And this worked great for me. It has for a long time. It helps to, you know, it keeps everything sorted and together, and I can put different size sheet protectors, you know, with different size pockets in here to hold different size cutouts and pieces. And this has worked great up until recently, and it's not working for me anymore. I'm just not liking it. And I think the reason that it's not working is because I'm in a smaller space now. So this has to live on a shelf in my closet, which means, you know, I have to like reach up and pull them down. I don't have room to keep them out where they're easy to access. And I think that's the case with most of us, is we tend to use the stuff that's right in front of us, you know, that we can see, that's easy to get to. And stuff that's in a box, that's in a closet, tends to stay in the box in the closet, right? So I'm not using this stuff like I want to because it's not convenient. And I really want to change that because I've got some great stuff in here, and this is something that most of us continue to add to pretty regularly. So here's what I wanted. I wanted something that I could sit out somewhere so it can't take up a whole lot of space, and it has to be easy to add stuff to it, easy to get stuff out of it, and keep things organized, right? So here's what I've switched to. Let me show you. I've switched to file folders, which is not like a big, woohoo, how innovative. No, not so much. But I'm using them in kind of a way that's working for me, and I'll show you what I've done. I've got them all, you know, I did my categories. And your categories will look different. Everybody's categories are different. It just depends on what you tend to collect. But I kind of revamped my categories, got them into something that I really like, and they're easy to flip through. You know, I really like this, doing this. This makes me happy to be able to just go, oh, look. Ooh, look there. And then slipping things in is easy. Pulling stuff out is easy. I'm really, really liking this. Now, file folders are, you know, they make sense for large sheets of paper, right? Let me move this over. Let me get a good example here. Here we go. Okay. Large sheets of paper or full sheets of paper. Yeah, that makes sense to put them in file folders, you know, because they'll stay neat. You can look through them. This is great. But with collage images and magazine images, we tend to cut out lots of little things, so this is not the best idea for, because little things will fall out and get lost. So what I've done to combat that is I have sewn a sheet protector into the folders that have small images, which is most of the folders. So let me show you what I did. I just took a regular 8.5 by 11 sheet protector. I cut off this edge right here just a tiny bit, you know, just the smallest amount that my little paper cutter would let me cut. And you know, normally it's open on this edge, so I sewed this edge shut, just ran it through my sewing machine, and again, just as close to the edge as I could get, and that has worked well. Just that little tiny amount of sewing, as long as you get it close to the edge, it won't affect your ability to put a full-size sheet of paper in there. And I don't know which of, this is probably 8.5 by 11 right here. It looks like a copy. So yeah, it works just fine for full sheets if you want to put them in there, but mostly I'm using these for my little parts and pieces. And I'll show you how I sewed it. Well, I'm not going to show you the sewing part because, you know, it's a straight line. But you just take your file folder. I took my file folder. I took my sewed along one edge and cut open along the other edge sheet protector here. and I just sewed it kind of like right, this is, I would call this the seam right here. This is the bottom seam. I just sewed it just below that, right there, into the crease of the file folder. So here's the crease, main crease of the file folder. I just sewed this right there, like that. And when you're done, then it looks like this. Folds up like that. Some of mine are fat, so I've, you know, done the little box bottom thing on them. But there's my sewing seam. And then I've got this little thing in here. And on some of the categories, I've put 2 in there. If I want to, I can sew in some pocket pages. If I want to keep my small stuff, you know, still in pocket pages. So that's what I'm doing, and I'm loving it so far. I've still got a little ways to go. Okay, I'm having trouble with one category. Can I just say that? There's one that's just kind of kicking my butt because I've got too much stuff. It's my people. I over-collect people. If I never collect another person image as long as I live, I will still have too many. So that's what this whole binder is. This is just people. And as you can see, I haven't emptied it because I'm stumped. I don't know what to do. I think that what I'm going to do is go through and separate paper doll people from people. You know, like these random floating heads. I'm going to use, that's a paper doll thing. These are all little heads that I can use on paper dolls. And what I might do is just keep my paper doll parts and pieces in here, in this binder, and then use my regular people that I might use for, you know, in journals and projects. I'll put those in my new file folders. See, these, I would not use these for paper dolls. They're just too big. They can go in the file folders. And I might also divide up modern and vintage. That has really helped me a lot. I had tons of objects, and there was just really a mishmash, confused pile of objects. So what I did, I sorted out the ones that could have their own categories, you know, like watches and things like that. And then the ones that were left over, I divided objects modern, which are mostly magazine cutouts, objects vintage, which are mostly printed objects, you know, stuff that are from free printables and things like that. So that has helped a lot, and I might do that with people. I might have people modern, people vintage, and that way, you know, it will just divide it up easier. I'm not sure. This is just, I'm kind of thinking out loud. And see, these are all people parts, like heads and arms and legs and, you know, eyes and stuff that I might use for paper dolls, but then there's just a giant head that I, you know, that just, I don't know what category that needs to be. But then I have whole people, which is, you know, whole people. And sometimes I'm not too good at discerning whole people. Clearly, this is not even a person, yet there it is. So this needs some work. I'm just overwhelmed by my people. I guess I need to make a people journal or something and use some of these up, because if your stuff overwhelms you, that's not really conducive to creativity, right? So, yeah, I need to do something about that. But I just did want to share with you my new system for keeping up with my stuff. Let me put these back. I have these in alphabetical order right now. I hope they stay that way. I made a video on how I colored the file folders, and I'm really liking it. I'm going to find me some kind of a cute tub to put them in, or a tote or something with handles on it. And there is just a lot of stuff here. I thought at first that I might want to sort things by color, and I started doing that and found out that does not work for me. I've seen a lot of people do it, and it's working great for them. They think in color. I don't. And it took me about a week to figure out that this wasn't going to work, because I started just kind of making doing some random art journaling, you know, or junk journaling, just the way I like to put things together. And not once did I say to myself, I need something blue right here. That is just not what came to mind when I was working. I don't think in terms of I need to glue a little blue something right here. Now if I'm painting, sure, I might say I need a little blue paint right here. But if it's objects and glue, collage images, I don't think in terms of I need a little blue thing here. I think in terms of I want a butterfly. So I need a category for butterflies. Or, you know, I want a person right here. Lord knows I have a category for people. That's the way that I think. So I think you have to really kind of put a lot of thought into the way you think. Do you think in color when you want to glue a little something down? Do you think to yourself, I want something yellow right there. I don't know what, but I need a little yellow something right there. Or do you think to yourself, I need a little vintage object right there? Because that's what I think. And then that really helped me to figure out how to sort my stuff. Color didn't really work for me. It was categories that worked for me. Now I do have some color sections back here. These are for things that don't really go in a category. They're mostly just like scrapbook papers in a different color, or, you know, some kind of a background. Like National Geographic, some of these I have in categories, some in color. And the way I figured out how to decide which is which, when I look at this, like, do I see a background? Does this need to go into backgrounds, or do I see orange? And when I look at this, I see orange. It doesn't, I could use it as a background, most likely would, but to me, the fact that it's orange is what stands out. Same way with this. This could be a cool background, but to me, I look at it, and what jumps out at me is the fact that it's orange, not the fact that it's a background. So let's look at backgrounds. How do I know which is a background and which is a color? Okay, some of these, obviously, there's not one particular color that jumps out, so clearly that's a background. But let's go to one. Okay, is this pink or is this a background? When I look at this to me says background. It's not all about the color, it's about the images. So that's the background. I know, it may be confusing to you, but it makes perfect sense in my mind. And figuring out the way that I think about what I'm doing was the biggest hurdle to overcome, and has been the most help in helping me to organize my stuff. So I hope that maybe that has helped you. I am going to go sit down with my people binder and probably just chew my nails until I can figure out what to do. I think what I might start doing is just, I may pull everything out, lay it out on the table, and then, you know, put like things together, because that's, logically, that's how you organize stuff, and then just see kind of what happens. So, yeah, I'll let you know about that. So, there we go. I hope that helps you organize your stuff, and that's all I got. The end.